Last Thursday night, TJ Watt suffered a concussion during the game against the Patriots. It became evident the next day when he showed up and reported concussion symptoms. Now, the official word is he had no concussion symptoms the night before because obviously he would have been put in the protocol. We've been following the story very carefully because to anyone who's got basic common sense, something stinks here. And this is about protecting the players. This isn't about giving someone a strategic edge or not. Oh, you wanted the Steelers to lose. You didn't want TJ Watt to play. No, I want the NFL to mean it when it says it's trying to protect players. And it feels too often that the process for evaluating a player who might have a concussion, it's a checklist aimed at getting the player back on the field, not a process that begins with the basic notion that these individuals are patients. We learned that last year with Tua Tagovailoa. That's why there was concern about Tagovailoa being cleared because it was a back injury. And they did that whole investigation. He had a back injury when he was wobbling around after the Week 3 win over the Buffalo Bills. And it all became more magnified because 4 days later in Cincinnati, his head hits the turf. He goes into the fencing posture. He's taken off on a stretcher, and he becomes the poster child of concussions in the NFL. Treat the players as patients. Don't treat the concussion evaluation system as a checklist aimed at allowing the players to be given the green light to go back onto the field. And it feels like that's what happened on Thursday night. How can it not? He got hit hard. Knee to the face mask. They were checking inside of his mouth. They were checking his jaw. Eventually, they give him a tinted visor. After the game, he can't talk to Peter King, even though they had a meeting scheduled because he was having a migraine. At what point is it incumbent upon the doctors, specifically team doctor and the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant, who is far from perfect in this process? And even though you're unaffiliated, you're not truly independent. Because if the broader football mechanism wants its players on the field, at some level you feel pressure to not stand in the way of allowing players who fully accept the risk and always want to go back in the game, with very rare exceptions. If you stand in the process of that, you may end up not being the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant for very long. It's not independent, it's unaffiliated. This process resulted in, by all appearances, no one regarding TJ was a patient. He was regarded as a guy for whom a checklist gets filled out. We don't operate from the presumption he has a head injury and look for proof that he doesn't. We look for proof that he does, and we ignore the proof that suggests he might. The degree of impact, the damage that was done, they were checking the jaw. Whatever required the tinted visor, isn't that the reddest of red flags? Tinted visor, light sensitivity, concussion. And then you throw on top of it the NFL's just flat out refusal to give me any explanation whatsoever as to what transpired. Asked 3 times between Friday and Saturday and into Sunday. Nothing. Now, I guess some would say, well, they're doing this joint review with the NFLPA, so they can't say anything. They do that all the time. That's a standard process. They've answered these questions in the past, questions like this. They've come out and defended their process of evaluating a player for a concussion before concluding he didn't have one, or determining they weren't going to evaluate a guy for a concussion who ended up having one. So hopefully in this process, the NFLPA will be aggressive. The NFLPA won't just go along to get along, to have the right relationship with the NFL. This is the first test of Lloyd Howell, the new NFLPA executive director, as to how he will be when it comes to protecting players, even when you are protecting players at times from themselves.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.